Hey, good Sunday morning. So today is travel prep day. Being that I still have a full-time job, I use weekends to prep this, the truck, and anything else for travel day. So that's what we're gonna do today. Stick around and let's do it. So first thing we're gonna do is check tires. And I got my Viair, so if any of the tires are low, which they may be because we haven't been anywhere in probably a month and a half, so I'm gonna check tires just to make sure that they're correct air pressures and we won't have any issues with tires. Let's get this thing open here. Pressure gauge. I bought this for the truck just to, although it's got the computer readings on the dash, I still like to manually check them just to make sure everything is working right. Now, this is the Viair 450p RV automatic. The reason I chose this one is because the tires that I have on here and the previous tires, the pressure in them was 125 psi cold. So this one will push that, no issues. So that's why I went with this one. So more to come on tire pressures here. Let me get this thing set up and we'll go check tires. So one thing I like about the Viair is it hooks directly to your battery, and they give you extra long hose. I've got 2 lengths of hose. There's 2 in the bag, 1 on each side, so which makes when you have to stretch a pretty good long way, makes it easier. All right, so right now I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, this is not a how-to, this is how I do video, okay? If you look on the internet, there's a plethora of videos out there and information on how different people air tires up. But I tell you what I'm gonna go with. I go with what's on the sidewall, and if it says 125 max cold, I'm gonna put 125 max cold in these tires. I've been doing that for years and have not had any issues whatsoever. I've heard people calculating their weight. I have not weighed this rig yet, but I've heard people calculating the weight and going by the specific numbers for the weight of your vehicle. The biggest factor is underflated tires. If you underflate your tires while you're traveling, they heat up faster, okay, and you're going to have issues. So monitor your tires, check your tires before your trip. If you stop, say for lunch or whatever, check them again. Check them periodically through your travel if you have a long travel day. Get a tire monitoring system. We run the TPS system, so I'm continuously monitoring pressures and temps while we're going down the road, and it's a game changer, believe me. You would not believe how much the pressure changes in these tires and the heat of the tires while you're traveling. So as I mentioned, we have the TST system. So here's your sensor and the monitors in the truck. So if you're running this system, my recommendation would be to get the metal valve stems. What happens when you're running down the road is the weight of this sensor will make the rubber ones flop around, or they'll bend, and the continuous movement of that valve stem going back and forth will cut the valve stem, and you'll potentially have a slow leak, or you'll have a catastrophic leak, and you're going to be pulling over to the road quick. So let's check, see what the tire pressure is now. So right now we're at 113. So we've been sitting here, like I said, for a month and a half, somewhere in there. So we're going to go ahead and put the 125 in it. And it is Sunday morning, so we head out Tuesday. We don't have to leave real early Tuesday morning, but I'll check them again Tuesday morning by my hand gauge, and then also I'll fire up the TST and see what the pressures are there, just to make sure that we're reading the same. And that 113 tire pressure should be consistent with all the tires. If not, if you have one that's several pounds off, then you may want to start looking at that tire, because you may have a leak. Let's check that. All right, we're at 120. What I've learned about this gauge with my Viair now, leave me a comment if it's like that with yours, but this gauge is usually about 5 pounds off. So I'm not sure if there's any way to calibrate it. I've looked, the dial doesn't move. So, but I am 5 pounds off with this gauge. $124. All right. $125. All right, so now we'll do that with the other 5 tires, and the tires will be good.
I'm dirty jeans and a 4x4, cruising down to your front door. From a closest pack and a whiskey neat, some dive bar right up the street. I'm a good old boy and a country star. No one else can go this far. Come on, baby.
Another thing to do while you're down here airing up your tires is check your rims out. Make sure there's no cracks. These heavy campers and rims they're putting on here now these days, in the forums there's talks about them cracking, so which tells me that the camper is overweighted for the rim spec. So just check them out, make sure there's no cracks. Lug nuts, check your lug nuts. I just had these tires mounted 2 months ago, so we went on a trip right after we got them. I did check the lugs after that trip, so I know we're good. But check your shackles, make sure your shackles are good. Grease your fittings. I greased my fittings on the last trip, so they will be good. Check your leaf springs. It's just a good way to get a visual inspection of everything since you're already down there. So I mentioned that those tires should be fairly equal on the other side. So front tire was 113, middle tire was 112, and the back tire was 113. So they're good. I see no issues there. All right, tire pressures are all at 125. So while I'm down here in this comfortable position, let's talk tires. All right, so my original tires that came on this camper were the Goodyear G114s. So great tire. I did not have any issues. The only thing that I had was I was coming close to my 5-year date. Now leave me comments down below if you go by the it's 5 years, I'm changing tires regardless, because that's what I'm on. I do not want to be stuck on the side of the road for 3 to 4 hours waiting on somebody or a company to come change tires, because once you had one blowout, it may be that same day, it may not be, but you're gonna be stuck on the side of the road waiting on somebody to come change your tires if you don't have 2 or 3 spares. Okay, so this go around I went with the Hercules, and they are called Strong Guards. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. This is a 215/75 R17.5 tire. They are load range H, and they are 16 ply tires. So I'm not sure exactly what they're rated. I want to say it's like 8,450. Don't quote me on that, but I'm thinking that's what it is. So another thing about tires when you're checking them, or let's just say you're buying a used camper, or you forget when it was you bought your tires, they have a DOT number. The DOT number, usually a circle, and it has 4 numbers in it, and this one is 5024. So 50 is the 50th week of that year, and 24, so it was the 50th week of 2024 that these tires were manufactured. Now let's look at another tire and see if it's the same. Generally they are the same. Let's see, I don't even see it on this one. It must be on the back side. Let me check this one. Yeah, here we go. This one is 4224. So 42nd week of 2024 is when these tires were manufactured. So that's just something else you can go by when you're looking at your tires to make sure that they're roadworthy and they're ready to go and they'll be safe. Now, so we've had this camper about 3.5 years now. So on this specific hitch, which is the air ride by Trail Air, it has this shock here, and you see there's an arrow right here. So generally what you're supposed to do is hook to the truck, and if that line, or if this line is not sitting flush with that arrow right there, then you air it up and you wait till it comes up above that arrow. So generally, I've been hooked up so many times and I know what kind of pressure it is. I just generally just take it on up to that pressure, and then when I hook up, I'll give it a glance. It's kind of hard to see, but I'll give it a glance to make sure that it is right there. If it's not there, what happens is it will bottom out, and you'll feel it. You'll feel the camper when it bottoms out. So that just gives you a little bit extra, cushion going down the road from the chucking. In one of my other videos where I showed some mods that I were doing to my camper, I mentioned this breakaway cable right here. So this is the breakaway cable. It's an emergency cable that hooks to that solenoid, and if you come disconnected from your camper in any way, this right here pulls this pin out, solenoid, and it fires all the brakes on your camper and it comes to a complete halt. So I mentioned that I have seen this from YouTubers or other content creators, and I failed to mention exactly where I got it from. So I mention it now. Doug Sawyer, thank you for this. I appreciate it. It is definitely a lot better than having that straight cable on there. Turning sharp corners, if you have to do a 90 degree turn or sit it in there anyway, it'll pull that plunger out of that solenoid and it'll lock the brakes, and you're not going anywhere until you figure out what exactly happened and put that plunger back in there. So again, Doug Sawyer, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Now I will tell you, when you've used this thing, so I've been using it for the last 30 minutes, this head right here, it gets hot. So I usually just put it in a bag, let it cool down a little bit, and then zip it up. I don't think it gets as hot as to melt anything, whatever, but it does get hot. And if you have little kids or you're not thinking and you just grab it, it's gonna be hot and it could burn you. So just be careful there. These are a pain in the butt sometimes to get them back together, but you figure it out pretty quick. Oh, there you go. Everything fits in its own little bag, nice and tight. And then handle just kind of latches in together. And you're good to go. All right, one more thing about tires and we'll get off the tire subject. Covers, they're important. That sun coming up right there, it is beaming on them tires, and sun is another damaging factor to tires. It will eat them up. It'll cause cracking. It just deteriorates the rubber. So make sure if you're going to be somewhere for a long period of time, cover them up. If you're a weekender or you're full-time or whatever, wherever you're at, make sure you cover them tires up and keep that sun off of them. Okay, it's going to save your tires in the long run. It's going to make them last longer. All right, I think that's going to do this video today. We talked tires, which is the main part of prepping for trips, because if your tires are not right, then you're not going to make it to your destination. So we knocked that out today. We knocked out the truck being clean. The camper was washed yesterday. So when it comes Tuesday, which is the day this video comes out, I will knock out some other things before we leave Wednesday morning. And obviously Wednesday I'll go ahead and flush tanks, make sure they're good to go. Like I said, we don't have to leave out of here real early Wednesday morning, so I do have some time to prepare for our trip that day as well. So if you like this video, hit that like button. I'm amazed we are at 60 subscribers now. It's awesome, it really is. So thank you to all my subscribers. Share my channel with your friends and family.